Hello out there. Thank you all for choosing to stop in for, I don't know, watching our videos. My name's Tom, and I got some uh, good biblical insights for us as we live in this day and age. Whoa, we are a divided country. And I mean, whenever I look at a political map like what we've seen in the last couple days with our presidential election, it's amazing. Blue, red, mm, just is a stark reminder of just maybe how different we are ideologically speaking and uh, and philosophically speaking. I think that there's a lot of things that play into the way that we are divided. As of right now, we don't even have a presidential winner, and maybe we won't for several weeks. I don't know. It seems like every time I see a new timeline, it is constantly being pushed back. And at moments like this, the entire world seems to hold its breath to know what will the United States do in a time like this. And then I get the stark realization of what does it matter? Uh, Perhaps there will be uh, higher or lower taxes. Perhaps there will be new laws passed that will either help or hurt the United States citizens. But in the long run, what does it do for me? In our country, there's a great system of checks and balances so that no one person holds all the political power. And that's a good thing. It's a very good thing for us to be aware of that. And regardless of which side of the aisle you stand on, that's a good thing. Otherwise, people could run rampant and do things that are very counter to the entire population as a whole. But with that in mind, as a Christian, I have to understand that God has always wanted personal responsibility over political influence or allegiance. I have to understand that God has always wanted something from me and not whatever party I want to align to. So regardless of what kind of country or governmental system that I live in, I need to focus on what I can do better and not what other people say I need to do or possibly whatever is going on with your political spectrum. So thinking of personal responsibility, I think of Rick's uh, his thoughts from this Tuesday night when he talked about anger and being quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to get angry. Typically when we get angry, we have to realize that anger is a secondary emotion. We usually get angry because we feel like we've been hurt or wronged. And so when we feel this way, we lash out in anger. This happens all the time with many relationships. Someone makes an offhanded comment and so you feel hurt, slighted. So you lash out because you're upset at whatever's happening around you. Okay, so that's the idea that we come with where anger starts. But I want us to get a little deeper into this thought process. Why should us as God followers take anger from a different perspective? Now, don't misunderstand me. Anger is not a bad thing. There's many verses that talk about being angry and not letting the sun go down on your anger or not letting uh, a person sin in their anger. But the idea is for us to be able to be self-controlled and to realize that there's things that we can do that are proactive. But let's look at a couple verses first. First time that we're going to look at the some wisdom literature, Proverbs chapter 19 verse 11. This is what it says. Good sense makes one slow to anger, and it is the glory to overlook an offense. And another version says, sensible people control their temper. They earn respect by overlooking wrongs. In these circumstances where our feelings are hurt and we become angry, the sensible thing to do is not to lash out at someone else. The sensible thing, the way to gain glory or respect is by overlooking that offense. Is seldom are people out there to intentionally hurt or upset you. So the idea that you begin with just simply overlooking however you were wronged is the most wise way to approach it. And then you move on. You go to the next thing. Now, there are circumstances where someone may intentionally try to wrong you or hurt you, and that's a lesson for another week. But in this instance, you just initially say it was an accident. It was an incidental happening, and you move on. However, in these times, it may just be a fleeting happening. We must let it go. Don't hold on to those moments. They just make you bitter, resentful, and ultimately hateful towards a person or a political group. One more thing about being offended or wrong. We often want to hold people to our own level of conduct or understanding. But that is unrealistic, it's unfair, and it's impossible. I can't make anyone do the things that I do. I can't make anyone feel the way that I feel. I can only control those things within myself. We can't control anyone, not their behaviors, not their thoughts, and not their emotions. All we can control is ourselves. That is why the Christian faith espouses and champions the idea of individual responsibility. Christ, in all of his teachings, places the responsibility on our shoulders. Here's the more perfect way. Matthew chapter 5, verse 38 through 42. You have heard that it was said, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, but I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn them the other cheek also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, hand over your coat as well. If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2. Give to them the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. See, Jesus emphasizes our actions here. The passage is not simply about being passive, get slapped, but to turn your other cheek as well. If someone takes your shirt, give them your coat. See, faith, our responsibility, is active. It requires actions. So, when you are wronged, don't hold it against that person, but be active. Turn the other cheek. Ask yourself, what can I do to make this situation better? Combining these two thoughts, we gain a better perspective on what to do when we are wronged. Initially, overlook the incident. Don't attribute that incident to a person's character. Don't attribute that wrong to just how that person is. Overlook it. But then ask yourself, what can I do to make it better? What can I do to help the situation? In this, you'll understand why Jesus says that his yoke is light, and for us to put his yoke upon us. Thank you, and God bless.